Right, we're waiting for Classic to actually throw down something, Twilight Council or Stargate, and it is going to be a Stargate, actually. Oh, and no second gas, too, so that is the third command center coming down. Okay, so not the safest. If Classic was doing something aggressive, it'd be difficult, perhaps, to hold, but Stargate's not necessarily aggressive, it's harassment, so that actually might be something that Maru is okay with seeing.
Yeah, and now he gets a full scout of it as well. But we put the Twilight Council down in the natural, okay.
Huh.
I love it, right? Just let's play a little bit of fakery. You know, let's try and trick him a little bit. It's not normal. It doesn't really make a ton of sense. He's going to make one Phoenix still. And then what, we just rush DTs? I still actually think there's potential if you just go. I mean, Stim might be done, but maybe there's enough Zelds just overwhelmed, but Classic has to go ASAP. And even just killing a bunch of SCVs on the natural could be pretty decent for him. The Phoenix here maybe try and bait a few units into the wrong place, such as all of these Marines moving forward. They do have Stim, which is kind of scary. A single Stalker shows itself. Maru gonna stay split up. He's gonna get baited out of the side, and here we come with the Zealot. So now it's gonna be Classic's opportunity. Maru has to Stim away. He's not gonna be able to fight this straight up. But Classic refuses to go into that bunker. I don't know, Classic. I feel like you still gotta go, buddy.
Yeah, is there really an alternative here? Like, can you be happy with that? No, I don't think so. Now suddenly Maru is going to have a sufficient bio army, medevac, stim, combat shields, a good number of units too, right? And that is going to overwhelm someone who doesn't have a strong economy to warp in mass Zealots. That's why so often that Zealot Phoenix goes off a 3 base, and hopefully one that you got away with, you know, no problem whatsoever. Colossus might be out by the time Maru does feel comfortable pushing out. You can see him scanning. He is wondering what the heck is actually happening. How are you actually following this up? And I think it did see the gas at the very least, and yeah, the Robo, but not the Robotics Bay technically. I mean, it still doesn't feel like Classic has set himself up for success overall, but I guess if he continues to kind of confuse Maru and Maru doesn't choose a time to strike, we could still be talking about a game.
Yeah, it is just confusing all around because it's just not normal from Classic. He flipped a bit of a coin. It didn't land the right way with 3CC and what he was planning. A couple of Widow Mines get burrowed, so Classic backs it up. Now he's maybe going to come from the other side. The SCVs are coming.
Why not?
Okay, well,
why not?
Yeah, I mean, why not? Because really, what Classic got, one Colossus and a bunch of charge lots, it seems very killable.
Yes, it does, yeah. You know, single Colossus, yes, it has that splash, but it's going to be using it on the SCVs, not super efficiently. They will take a couple of shots, and that's what the bio is going to use to overwhelm. Classic lets the Nexus go, which is clearly the only option, and then we have the SCV pulled back, because, you know, that's how this game is going.
He's got third base to mine from Zombie Grub. He doesn't need to keep these across the map.
I mean, that's true. Like, it's the weirdest little TVP we've seen, but it's, like, kind of mimicking a real one, you know?
It has elements of, like, real TVP.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, can we watch some TVP? No, we've got TVP at home, right? Like, it's like
disfigured and weird.
Yeah, it's like it's just like, yeah, there's a Phoenix and Colossus and Charge and there's Bio and an SCV pull, but like, it's none of it's quite the way it's exactly meant to be, you know?
Yeah, I'd love if this actually goes into a really solid game, but Classic, you know, he's still in a ton of trouble, right? Blink is going to finish up, but does he actually have Stalkers in position to stop this drop? No, he does not. Doesn't have any upgrades either. +1's on the way, but that can actually be targeted by this drop, which even this drop by itself, I mean, it's a big drop, of course. But if it concaves a little, if the Widow Mine splash on the Zealot, it could also tango with the army on the top. It could also just evacuate and say, yeah, okay, I did the job.
Yeah, I mean, there's no real way to shut down these drops. There's not enough Phoenix to really scare the drops off. And yeah, you're without a third base, man. I mean, it's just been a weird game, and Classic, unfortunately, I really do feel just was like, hey, I really hope you do the Maru thing and try and kill me, and I'm going to be so overly prepared, it's going to backfire on you so hard.
Yeah, yeah.
And Maru's like, yeah, it actually makes no sense for me to 3CC against you, so I'll build 3 command centers.
And Classic looks to be going for a bit of a Hail Mary push. He wants to push and control Maru's army, but Maru's army never fully went home. It's still there.
Yeah. Couple of force fields go down, trapping a little bit. Maru should just be able to run kite away. He's going to be doing mega damage in Classic's main base at the same time with that drop. So as Classic looks good pushing forward, you've got to remember that Maru is doing a ton of damage. Classic's not going to be able to keep on reinforcing behind this, and Maru just has to hold this front to some extent. And of course, at some point can bring these units back home to help fight as well. So let's see if Maru can execute this defense, as it honestly looks like he's there. The bunker takes a long time to fall. The Colossi have no protection. They are barren and bare, and again, marauded on down.
Yeah, you can see how if Maru perhaps wasn't as good of a player, or if things had gone really weird earlier on, this actually could have been a successful strike. He would have caught, you know, only 25% of Maru's army and then would have dominated, got on top of production. It could have gotten way weirder It really doesn't. At the end of the day, Maru responds calmly, correctly, while also doing all this damage on this side of the map. It was a fun TVP, but Classic just never really had anything truly going for him. And so Maru will take game number 1.
Classic and here is Classic. Super fast pylon's got to be second gateway.
Yeah, that's the thing, though. It's like, I think if you even just got one glance at how that game actually started for Classic, you'd be like, oh, he's like going to try and kill me. He's really going to try and get me, man. Either way, Maru's going to have a very difficult time holding the command center. It's just a matter of stopping a real snowball effect into his main.
Oh, absolutely, yes. We got a bunker down. Maru is like, you know, I'm going to just play safe. This is my expansion. We'll watch the Maru FPV here for a few moments as we get set up early. Tries to figure out what's going on. He is scouting around with the Reaper to see any of the nearby kind of proxy Stargate locations. Obviously, he's not expecting the gateway in the middle of the map. Or maybe he is, but that's just one of the things he'll scout for later. He sees the Stalker now. He's going to start getting a very good idea. Here comes the Zealot as well.
Yeah.
It's defense time for Maru, and holding this low ground is going to be tough, but the bunker is far enough along that we probably get it up.
Yeah, good Stalker micro takes out that Marine. Reaper's going to come back to try and help, and the bunker is done. So the Reaper hops in there. That's not so much of a problem. And the SCVs, now it's about maybe microing them to stop another one from dying. All right, fourth one does go down. But the bunker finished. The command center finished. And that's already not like the best there for Classic, who at least would have hoped to have done more of a good job denying the command center straight up, or denying at least like mining and building from the natural by stopping that bunker. So yeah, Classic is doubling down. One base target sends that particular.
He's triple down.
Oh, is this a Roddy build? The proxy Tempests.
Yeah, I mean it has to be Tempests. So cool. Classic. He's really come into this and said, what could I do?
It's gonna be scouted.
Oh man.
Oh man. I mean, the Reaper usually, I guess, would try to go across the map, but it was looking for something, looking for exactly what the follow-up was. It found, yes, of course, and now he can overcharge. The shield battery, yes, Classic.
This is like old school
Yeah.
Protoss cheese from like Super Battery day.
Everything goes pretty well. The only thing that actually would affect it negatively for the Terran is that if Maru went for the upgraded Cyclones, right? Kind of good against the Armored, but I just, the Vikings are going to be good enough. The lock-ons are still going to hurt. And I don't see this working, but I love that Classic tried it, and we can still see if maybe Maru makes too big of a mistake and lets this snowball.
Yep, 2 Cyclones lock on, 2 Vikings here again with the Vikings just so quick. Because he scouted the fleet beacon, right? He's able to double down on the Vikings. That just goes a long way, and then you just don't need the firepower to really be anywhere else. Once you get to 4 Vikings, it's going to be tough. You see 1 battery is already fully drained of energy too, so it just feels like this is a ticking time bomb where Classic's going to blow up. He lit himself on fire, and unfortunately he's not going to blow up in the right way.
It'll be fireworks, though.
There will be fireworks.
That'll be really, really fun.
Not all fireworks are good.
That's true. That is 1 Tempest dead. Nothing to stop it. There's not an overcharge. I think an SCV or something went across the map too. Maru is kind of just checking to make sure this is completely all in.
Yep.
Yeah, and it is. So just continue producing these units. Tank is going to come out to try and start taking down the shield batteries. This is the natural progression of things, guys. If you scout it this fast, definitely copy Maru. Do that in all things in life, I suppose. And you'll also have success.
So you'll see the Tempest get a couple more shots off on Vikings, but the Vikings getting repaired too, so their number's not going anywhere. Because you're just not getting to a high enough Tempest count because you lost 1 early. And that is an issue in itself, so yeah, very just difficult position here for the Classic. Don't really know if there's anything creative he can do to work his way out of it, because it's getting to that point where the Vikings are going to shoot through batteries no matter what, and then you're in trouble. I mean, yeah, the Tempest is barely even close to batteries at the moment, so has to be careful.
Any attempt at maybe swapping to something that could bust the ground also has been denied by Maru with 2 bunkers and a tank that's going to die, actually. So there's that. But still, you know, trying to do that is already a bit difficult. And, well, he is going to try, at least get that natural open. But the Vikings are awaiting those Tempests. They know if they go too far forward, one of them, certainly that injured one, will get sniped.
No!
Okay.
Just about that. Well, really, I mean, every second that passes by, there's an extra Viking or 2, and eventually those Tempests are 1 or 2 shot, and boom, you know, then they just disappear way too quickly. There you go. There goes 1. Super Battery was even active underneath, didn't matter. So 1 Tempest dies. Classic's desperate to do something because it's not getting any better for him, but he doesn't really have much of an opportunity. And unfortunately, this is just going to be not quite. I mean, it was fun. It was just not close.
That is also true. It was fun, and it has not been super close. Yeah, Classic, at least he's At least he is showing that he can do kind of whatever, right? Which is a good thing. It's not working in this particular time, but just to show that you are very scary in very, like, many ways versus the Terrans, that is something. But it's, I think, just clear that this was going to be a mismatch. Classic years ago would have been the best match of the tournament, right? And maybe a year from now would also be the best match of the tournament. But right now, he is looking desperate against Maru.
He really is. He really is. As Tempest get to work on that bunker, reactor taking damage still, and, well, the tanks just edge a bit further forward. They're going to be able to fire up on those Stalkers, 1 or 2 going down. And the Vikings taking another opportunity to chase forward on the Tempest. We just don't quite kill one. It's a very low HP Tempest that gets to stay alive, but they're all becoming low HP Tempest, so again, there is just a breaking point on the horizon.
Tanks move up aggressively to take down shield batteries, but also move the Stalkers away too, right? So everything just for Classic is moving backwards, and it still can't really take a direct engagement. Maru is finally going to start also moving on himself, add on his barracks, eventually get, standard combat shields and really just dominate this game, which he's been doing, but I know a lot of you are like, no, it's still precarious. Yeah, if he really miscontrolled. But if, Maru's not going to
If he, like, flicks the Vikings onto the Tempest and lets them fly over the Stalkers and catches them, sure. But there's just no way that that's really going to happen. We're on our way to charge, but there's such a ground force already. Yeah, it's... I just don't see a way out for Classic in a realistic scenario. I really don't. He doesn't have the tools. His army's not great. Even when he gets charged, he's going to have a very low zealot count compared to what you really need to be impactful here. Yeah.
I guess there's no reason not to transfer those probes because his main base is mining out. But, his you call it the natural? The unnatural is also not going to be able to mine with Maru continuing to advance.
A slightly misplaced natural.
Slightly. It's a little off. Yeah, it's also not really going to be able to mine with nothing else the probes are going to do, I suppose. And these are the last few units. Classic is trying to get the charge, right? He thinks one last hurrah. Yep, go for it. There won't be that many zealots, but you can see Maru is really not going to let this game go. He is siege hopping and he's bunker hopping.
I know, I love it. It's just like, we're pretty sure Maru's got this, and I was like, I'm going to really make sure because I've got bunkers. There is going to be no way Classic can take me down here. 1 Tempest, 6 charge lots, and a handful of unblinkable Stalkers. Probably not going to do it, as we do see Maru just going to commit forward. Has the bunkers to fall back to. He's got some tank fire to support him. And Classic is going to go for his final hurrah here in this series. But as expected, Maru will hold on very confidently, very easily. The Vikings will dance their way above the Nexus. And Classic will not leave because who would leave? Exactly on time. There we go. Thank you, Classic. Maru takes the 2-0. Convincing.